saw this super nice trade and you increase your size. That is the danger.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see, again, when you start to increase size, when you start to do funny things, right? Again, you are not focusing on the process again. You are focusing on how much money you're gonna make.
Yeah.
So again, it's back to
grounding yourself.
Rounding down, yes, and then doing it over and over again. So success in trading, right, is really about putting on your trade plan. In your trade plan, there will be what we call hit rate. That means how many times correct versus wrong, and also your risk reward. That means how much you make versus how much you lose. So this is mathematics.
All right, everybody, welcome to this exciting edition of the Master Inventors interview series. Right, so today we have someone which I've been wanting to get for actually a long time, because I've heard his name for so many years since I started my education journey, right, the investment and the financial education space, right. So today with Mr. Collin Seow, right, I think it's a huge story. I think he does a lot with his SM3 training community, right, to actually equip them with essential skills and strategies in the trading, right. But for those people, right, Collin, for that one or two people watching this, they might not know who you are. Can you maybe just share a little bit of yourself, your story, and a bit of your background before we begin the rest of the interview?
Sure. Hey, Marc, thanks for having me today. It's my privilege to be here. For those people who don't know me, I was a trader. Before that, I was a part-time trader. I started very young when I was like 20, 21. I was always interested in the financial market. So I opened up my first trading account when we were allowed to open the 21. Then I was doing part-time, lose money and things like that. That was for almost like 6-7 years. Then after about 6-7 years, I managed to find a way to trade. So that took me about 3 years. So 3 years I was not doing anything, just basically just trading the market. And I read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. I believe you read this before, right? So he was talking about how to get out of the rat race. Basically, it's not just about increasing your income by lowering your expenses. So I thought to myself, hey, what if I just trade every day, just 1 hour, and then the rest of my day I can just take it easy, So for 3 years I was doing that. So I've been doing that for about 3 years successfully. And then later part, I decided to become a stockbroker, a remiser. And then that stockbroking journey lasted me for 12 years. Wow. Of course, in between, there were challenges along the way. That's how I also went into the training industry. Before that, I was more like doing my own kind of trading.
I was curious, right? Before we move on a bit more of your education space, right now I know that you're serving so many students, bringing so much value, right? I'm just curious, like, what was your thoughts, right, when you decided to move on just trading by yourself, right, to becoming a remiser, right? What was that thought process or that pattern that decided to make you switch right over to a full-time remiser role, right, for your career?
Actually, very simple. I wanted to save some commission then. I was doing very short-term trading. So the brokerage, and I was trading mainly Singapore stocks. So the brokerage the commission became important. So I went to find out the details, how to become a broker. And then because if you are doing very short-term trading, the company could kick back about half of the commission. So I could save half the commission, which also is a few $1,000s. So I said, hey, that immediately go to my bottom line for every month, you see. So I said, hey, why don't I become a remiser? And then all you need to do is just to put some money with them, and then you can become a remiser. So
but at the same time, you had to serve clients and you might get some commissions from them as well? Or?
Yes. Initially, when I first started, because I was a financial advisor, I was all my life before that, I was a financial advisor. And so when I discovered trading and learning how to trade, then there was some tension because as a financial advisor, the challenge was after a while your clients, right, become your friend also. But sometimes because in doing financial advisory, sometimes you are paid by commission. You're paid by commission. So sometimes the product that pay you the most may not be the product that is the best for the customer. So there was some tension, and after so many years, you have built up a lot of friendship with all clients, right? So sometimes I feel it's difficult to align these two, the client's interest, my interest, the company interest, all align, even the manager interest. So that's why I started to thought, hey, why don't I just go full time into trading, go full time into as a reminder. And as a reminder, everything you get paid, right, it's the same. You buy Singtel share, you buy any other company share, the commission is the same. So it really depends on how good are you lah. Yeah. So that's the reason why I switched on. So I had a big pay cut during then.
Yeah.
Because I have worked for 8 years as as a financial advisor. So we accumulate some what we call renewal and things like that. So I lost all that, but on hindsight, it was a good decision because after that, right, everything become more aligned.
Yeah. I was curious, right, Collin, so when you move on, being a reminder, right, moving on to doing our own education company, right? Was there was it like an instant let me just go and whack and push it? Or was there a bit of fear or nervousness about I have no idea what's going to be like when I actually move on to be my own boss to actually start educating a whole new space?
Okay, so good question. So when I decided to become doing training is a different thing. So I started as a FA financial advisor. Then I went on to do my own full-time trading. So I didn't have any intention to do training.
Okay.
So I was just trading my own account, living a simple life, trying to be prudent and be financially free. So, but what happened is when I was a broker, one of my client actually, so I have very few clients because I didn't really focus on the client building part or the reminder part of the business. But one of my client, which is an ex-reminder, he contra traded those warrants and lost a lot of money. He lost $250,000, $250,000. That was 15, 16 years ago. Now, which is like a 4-room flat already, So when he decided not to pay and decided to declare as a bankrupt, the loan, right, this loss became my loss. The company, because we are the counterparty, right?
Yeah.
So it became my loss. So I count out, if initially I was thinking every day make a few $100, I'm fine already. But right now with a $250,000 debt, right, and the company was charging me interest, right, on the debt. It was 9%. So 9% you calculate every month is few $1,000 also. So I said, cannot continue to do short-term trading already. So that was when that was the bottom thinking of how to get out of this whole mess. So I did research. I wanted to find a way to make back this loss, make back this money. So that's when I actually developed a system, and I started to trade longer term. I instead of doing very short term intraday or few days trade, I decided to do longer term. And the good thing that came out of it was the system started to work. So within about 1.5 years later, I managed to make back all the losses. All the 200,000 I managed to make back. I paid off the company, and then the company decided to now invite me to speak on big event like 3,000 people event and things like that. And then I thought, what I want to do with my life? Do I want to trade? Go back to, because trading is a very lonely thing.
Yes. Yeah.
If you make money, you maybe tell your wife. You lose money, you tell your wife. So it's a very lonely thing. You and the computer, that's all. So after I paid off the thing, then I thought must be a bit more purpose, more purpose driven. So that was when I thought, what's my calling? What's my calling? What's most important? If let's say end of my life, what do I want to be known for? If I'm known for he's a trader, it's like not much impact, just trade and make his own income, So I thought this word community came into my mind. Build a community, So that's the reason why till today, every week I still do my free weekly webinar with my graduates and things like that. So that started my journey, into doing education, sharing with people what's trading about. It's not about home run. It's not about gambling. It's a systematic way to trade. There's a systematic way to invest. And if you do it long term, systematically, you get results. But if you try to get shortcut, then you will lose out. So the reason why we have a community is also important, because trading is a very emotional thing. So sometimes when we have a community, we support one another in terms of emotions. We support one another in terms of the basics. So that was reason why I said, building a community is important. Outside this community, there are so much noise,
Yeah.
so much noise, buy this, sell this, this is the best method, that's the best method. So everybody is very confused. So when we came to the community, we have a system which is tell you exactly when to buy and sell.
Yeah.
At the same time, also we have a community to support you to say, oh, we bought this already. So what's the result of this? So everybody built this together. And I think that when you do it long term, I've been doing it for like more than 10 years. So when do it long term, then after a while, you start to get traction. People start to talk about it. When you get results for the graduates, start to talk about it. So right now, good lah. I mean, the thing is perpetuate by itself.
Yeah, and I love how the story goes, right? Because
Yeah.
I think firstly, yes, you're doing your own trading, right? And then decided to be a
Yeah.
miser to save. I think it was a very good optimal decision, right? To optimize some of your income, right? But I think you realized that it was not aligned, right? To
Yeah.
who you are, right? In terms of really want to serve your friends, right? Making sure you get your best value for them, right? You moved on, right?
Yeah.
There was a huge struggle there. There was a huge obstacle for you, right?
Yeah.
But instead of like giving up or just trying to do the small things, right? You actually managed
Yeah.
to find a system to overcome that. And right now you're doing what you love, right? In terms of building a community and helping people, right? Because you want to find like some form of fulfillment and meaning in what you do. So I love that whole journey, right? So thanks so much for sharing. And one thing my experience is, right, because I'm in a community as well, the SMT community, right? It's very valuable community, right? Very valuable content. Very you guys are very regular. I think
Thank you.
engaging ones I've seen as well. So I love it. So I guess with that, right? Because I think right now, if you had to guess, right? Now in the Facebook group, I know there's about 38,000 members, right? If I'm not wrong. Right? Is it?
In which one?
Like combined from all your groups combined.
We have about 25, about 30,000.
30,000, okay.
Yeah,
right. So I guess in your experience, right, I'm sure you're teaching for a lot of years, different from different countries, right, different personalities and demographics, right. In your observations, right, what do you think are some of the differences in characteristics of the students who achieve way bigger, better, faster results for the long term, right, versus those who might still be stuck, making a lot of mistakes and not at where they would like to be at a point? What do you think are some of your observations of the mindsets or the traits or the characteristics of it?
Okay, so because I was a reminder, right? So I have a lot of clients. So I noticed that two things are those people who make money in the market. Two types of people who make money from the market. One type of people are people who are professional. That means they come into the market, they trade very short term. Okay, but they are very, very rare lah. Okay, very rare. They are to trade short term, and then they are very disciplined. They have a system to get in and out of the market. That's one group of people. Then the other group of people are those people who have holding power. Buy something, you have conviction. So it's not just about win rate, how many times you win versus how many times you lose. It's about how much you win, how much you make when you're correct. Yeah. If you just get 9 or 10 times you get it right, but you every time make $10, no impact. But you just get it right one time, you make few $100,000, life-changing money, I call it. Life-changing money, then enough already. You don't need to actually fire so often. So there are two groups. One, either you get very systematic, you have a disciplined way of entering the market, exiting the market, or another way is just have conviction, buy something and hold it for long term. I think that's the two group of people that really make money. But majority of people they don't. Majority of people, they always want to looking for the best method. Like what is the best method? They keep finding for the best method. Actually, there is no best method. Because the greatest challenge, right, of trading is not the method. It's not the method. There are so many methods out there that works. The greatest challenge in trading is about emotions. That means when you're supposed to do this, then say, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. Or maybe when the time so there's a lot of challenge with the emotions, the greed and the fear. That is the biggest challenge.
So how do you manage it? How do you manage the emotions, for sure?
So how do you manage the emotions is through what we call a systematic way of approaching the market. So let's say, example, when you're emotional, that means there's no system. There's no way of knowing exactly when to get in and knowing exactly when to get out. It's just based on your emotions. Okay, so systematic trading is when you look at past data, look at what happened in the past, what's happening to the price, and then you do analysis, you do back test. You do analysis on the data, And after you find an edge, if I trade this method and there's an edge based on historical data, then I start to apply this method into the future. Yeah, so when I do that, right, then my trading become very systematic. If there is no signal to buy, I will not get in. If there's no signal to sell, I will not sell. Then it becomes very systematic in terms of your approach. Yeah. And when you get more systematic, then you start to have lower emotions. When you start to get lower emotions, then you get better results.
Oh, I love it, man. So this is why also like one big word you guys have is systematic, right? Making sure that everything follows a system, right? And I'm just curious, right? So let's say for the newer folks, right? The newer students, right? They say, okay, yes, I need to follow a system, right? I want to focus, right? Collin, I love him, right? Let's go, right? But will you have like any tips, or like sometimes they might still struggle with emotions every now and then, right? Whether is it sometimes they forget the system, sometimes they're still new, they're still very old in their old ways, right? What are some tips or routines you might say like, hey, these are some ways you actually can do to manage your emotions, to make sure that you don't get too caught up, right, with it, right, instead of following the system in the long term?
Understand. So which I tell my traders, some of the, because we have some full-time traders at my office. So it's the approach to your mindset to the market. So some people, they will approach the stock market, right, or the whichever market, right, as a consumer. It means I'm coming in, I am doing a punt, and then I'm trying to get in and then trying to get out some money from the market. The approach is that I'm a consumer.
Yeah.
That's one mindset. Whatever opportunity I'll grab. That is one way. That's the mindset of some people. The other way is to because when you trade, right, there is what we call risk reward.
Yep.
That means you know exactly how much you're going to lose upfront. You know exactly how much you're going to make upfront. You have what you call your entry and your target and your stop loss. So in actual, when you approach the market, what you're doing is actually you are giving up risk. You are giving up risk. That you are the casino. You are the one that is offering risk to people.
Okay.
So I want to do this trade. My stop loss is here. My target is here. Who want to take my order? Who want to take my trade? So it's rather than a consumer, like you are a gambler, trying to punt and trying to look for opportunity. You set up your own opportunity, and people take your opportunity from you. It means that you offer the opportunity and people take this opportunity. So the mindset is more of a producer rather than a consumer. Yeah. So this is more of the mindset.
Yeah.
And the second thing very important in trading or even investing is they have a saying, right? There's life not review. It's not worth living. So I think important they apply this to life, but you also apply this to your trading. So some people treat the stock market like a game. When you come in, you just play, and then you don't really know whether how much you make or how much you lose. But if you approach the market as you want to be good in this, right? Then what you need to do is to really keep records. Keep records, like how you trade, what's your emotions, why are you feeling this way, what's your exit point, what's your entry point, what's your stop loss, and things like that. So you approach it, and when you do records, you can review it. Then you can say, okay, during this period, why did I do it this way? Why did I approach this market this way? So like our traders right now, we spend like every day we will spend at least 1 to 2 hours just on review. That means the learning, right, is not the work is not done in the clicking of the button. The work is done in the review.
Wow.
The work is done in the review, because that is where when you start to bring yourself out of the picture and then look at yourself. You know what I mean? Because fish cannot see water, because when you're inside the water, right, you're trading, you're emotional, you cannot see water. But when you take time off from this and then start to say, why did I behave this way? So over time, when you keep reviewing, doing review, right? If you can, of course, you can get a coach. You can get a coach that can help you to review through, because sometimes you can't really see yourself. You get a coach that can review you, then it will get better and better. So from there, then you fine tune. It's like you choose to play golf and then play for fun,
Yeah.
just whack the ball, or you want to be a professional golf player, then what you do is you record yourself, right, hitting the ball, or even you get a coach to stand in front of you, and after every 10 swing, the coach will give you some feedback. This is what you should do, this is what you should do, and then you make correction. Then if you do it this way over time, right, the person who play leisurely and the person who really is serious about this, right, who will win? Obviously.
Like now I'm starting to see, right, why there are so many success stories in the SMT community, right? It's like coming in like a very regular basis, and I love the fact that I think what I get based on what you said, I think like the fact that not thinking you're like the one that is going there to pray for something to happen. And secondly, right, I think the fact that it's about reviewing, it's about strategizing, being very deliberate with your actions, right?
Yes.
And I think it's about being intentional, right? Instead of just trying to go there and pray, right, towards that. Okay, so I think thanks so much for that. I think I love it, right? It really gives me a bit idea why I see so many success stories. I guess the next question, right, is I think it's just this very small thing of, do you see, at least right now in the market, right, or within your student community, are there a lot of people who are FOMOing right now? Because I know there's like crypto, right? There's like specs, there's so many different financial instruments, right? Do you think that your student or like even yourself or your traders, your team might feel a bit FOMO? And if so, like what are some ways or advice you might give, right, to actually overcome those that feeling? Because that actually affects the emotions as well.
Correct. Yeah. So again, back to doing review, right? So like what I said, it's not important whether you make 100% this year. It's not important. What you want to do is you want to make sure that for the next 20 years, every year you make 20%. That is more important than whether you make 100% this year. So because the fact is, if you make 100% this year, you're not going to take up the profit and going to spend and live your life happily ever. It's not going to happen. Most likely you're going to reinvest the money. And if the next year you don't know how to invest, you can lose 50%, that's back to zero again.
Yes.
So trading, right, is not about doing that one big home run, but trading is about doing it consistently, having a process. That's why we are very process driven. That means you focus on swinging the ball, you focus on getting the coach to give you feedback, you focus on the small thing, the process of becoming a good golfer, then you become a good golfer. Rather than you keep focusing on, I want to get the ball into the hole and things like that. So that is the key. So same thing for trading. You focus on being a good trader first. Focus on doing, having the right entry, having the right stop loss, having the right target, managing your sizing, how much you trade and things like that. So all this, when you focus on this, making money is a result of doing the right thing.
The process.
Rather than I want to get it right. Because when you want to focus on the result, then you start to look at other people. Hey, how much is he making? How much is he making? Then you forget about the process because you just want a shortcut. Hey, what are you trading? What are you buying right now? I want to buy the same thing as you. Then you are focusing on the result. You're focusing on the shortcut really. So rather you just understand that it's not important whether you make money in the next one trade or not. The important thing is you have the right process. Because the key, right, is when you have the right process, you make money for life. That's the key.
Do people, I'm just curious, and it's just a curious thing, right? Like, do people get bored if that's the case? Like, the same thing over and over again? And so I'm just curious, like, is that something that you guys might have to talk to your participants, your community about, that actually can get a bit boring sometimes because you're just making money so consistently, right? That it's just a click, yes, okay, stop loss, right? Until people's like, Collin, I make good money, but I feel bored. Does that happen to you guys as well?
In fact, that is dangerous. So, like some of my community, right? When they become so consistent, it becomes boring. Because it's like work. It's like work. Your job is to do this, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Out of 10 tricks, 6 will be correct, 4 will be wrong, 7 will be correct, 3 will be wrong. And you do it over and over again. After a while, it becomes like a job. So that is the danger. That's the danger. Why? Because when you get, let's say you get 7 out of 10 correct, suddenly you say, let me try some drama. Then for no reason, you start to increase your size because you just saw this super nice trade and you increase your size. That is the danger.
Wow.
Yeah. So you see, again, when you start to increase size, when you start to do funny things, right? Again, you are not focusing on the process again. You are focusing on how much money you're gonna make.
Yeah.
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 So again, it's back to
Grounding yourself,
rounding
going
down,
back.
yes, and then doing it over and over again. So success in trading, right, is really about putting on your trade plan. In your trade plan, there will be what we call hit rate. That means how many times correct versus wrong, and also your um um your risk reward. That means how much you make versus how much you lose. So this is mathematics, yeah,
Yeah.
or what we call expectancy. So if you do it long enough, you will make money.
Okay.
It's just like when you go to the casino, right? I give you an example. Right? You go to a casino, if you roll a dice and the dice is as let's say 50-50. One three is you lose money,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 you make money.
Yeah.
But you just need to have an edge. 4, 5, 6 when you make money, you just make $1.10 more. Then you just keep throwing, you will make money over time. Yeah, but a lot of people, they after throw so often, then they start to do
Play
funny
around,
things.
people. Yeah. Okay. I get it. So
Yeah.
making money, consistent money, but boring, right? But that's a good problem to have, right? In the long term as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so and I love that, right? And so moving on, right? So right now, and I love the mindsets, the foundation, the strategy you have talked about, the systems, the processes, right? So I think the next question is more of like what's happening right now as of this interview is about July 2021, right? Early July. So I'm just curious, right? Any for your perspective, right? Any like big trends or big things that you're looking at right now, whether it's in the blockchain, the crypto side, that you feel that people should really take, it's worth people to at least take a closer look at in terms of the macro trends or any industries that you're actually looking deeply at? I'm just curious, like on your front.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, I'm quite reading up lah. I'm reading up. I think the big trend right now. I mean, we just talk about all the government when they come together. What they talk about, talk about climate change. They talk about the decarbonization of the world. Even in Singapore, they talk about no more. They're gonna change everything to EV. I think 2030, 2040.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
change everything to EV. The world is doing that. The world is doing that. The decarbonization of the world. So when they have this decarbonization of cars, decarbonization of everything, so what is going to impact is really on commodities. Okay, so commodity is what we call a 20-year cycle. So commodities is not so easy to start a mine, and then stop a mine and start a mine again. So when prices are good, everybody start to mine and things like that. When prices are bad, they start to close their mine, they start to stop mining. And after they stop mining, they cannot immediately start again. That means there will be processes to start immediately. So there's always a lag, and there's this 20-year cycle in terms of the commodities. And you look at the previous time when in 2000, that was China infrastructure growth, China urbanization. So a lot of commodity were needed. That's why it caused the commodity prices to rise and things like that. But when you go into the next phase right now, it's really about this decarbonization, EVs. You talk about solar panel, all this climate change. All this will require all the different metals,
demand for it,
minings and things like that. So I think this is a long-term trend. I mean, put it this way, we will not go backwards. It means Joe Biden will say, oh no, we not go backwards. So we will stop the EV and now go back everything to I see. Not possible. Singapore already mentioned that what's our plan and things like that. So we will not go backwards. So the only way is forward is the decarbonization of the world. And this is a big trend. I mean, if you talk about it maybe 10 years ago, maybe not so urgent. But right now, it's like start to get more and more and more urgent. When world leaders come together, they always talk about climate change and they start to put money where the mouth is already. Last time they used to just talk about it. Now they just really into this. So so that I think will be a huge trend. The only thing is prices doesn't go up in a straight line. Doesn't go up in a straight line. So you really need to ride the big trends rather than just be too concerned with the up and down in the small movement. I think that's the big theme right now.
Okay, so of course on a macro basis, right? Yes, green energy, but I think using what you guys teach, right? The exact guys, the trends, riding the trend, knowing when is the time to enter a bit more, right? I think then that's how you actually maximize your returns and your profit.
Correct. Of course, when you do the scanning, you will be able to find out, hey, what are the stocks that are in trend right now. So it will help. It helps. So I think another thing is about low interest rate. Just now I just received a letter from the bank. They actually dropped my mortgage rate. My wife said never happened before. In our life. So it's really about low interest rate. And the interesting thing is everybody is printing money. So it is actually a plus for people who are having assets, and this will cause inflation. Inflation in everything, commodities, stock market, everything will start to have inflation now.
Okay. So I love, I think, the green energy portion, right? And then of course using what you guys teach to actually enhance the profits, right? So I'm just curious, right? Because I think it's a very big topic, right? I think before we go on to the last question of today's interview, right? Is so now blockchain, cryptocurrencies, now there's ups, there's downs, Elon Musk is buying it, right? Companies going to use it. I just want to curious some of your general thoughts about this whole big space, right? And where do you see it coming? I'm just curious on your perspective.
I think last year I mentioned so last year I bought Ethereum like 200 plus, during a Facebook live. I said, this is a place I'm going to buy. I'm going to hold it for 10 years. So that was like 200 plus. And throughout that period, right, it's like now it's about 2,000 plus. Throughout that period, I've been keep talking about Ethereum and SMD graduate bought along the way. So I feel that blockchain is a long-term cycle. It's a long-term cycle. It is not a short-term, fad, right? Like some of the trends are fad. That means you come and then you go, you come. So I believe that this is more of a long-term cycle. So that time I talk about the internet. When internet first started, right? We have the .com bubble. It sounds like a fad. It sounds like because they were basically listing company in Nasdaq, and then they say, we have how many clicks, how many views, So it looked like a fad. But throughout the year, then they say, no way they can. They're going to replace brick and mortar. But it took like almost 20 years, or maybe at least 10 years before we really see Amazon. We really see all these people who start to take over the but now if you look backwards, you say, hey, really people are buying things online rather than buying things
it shifted.
On brick and mortar. Same thing for cryptocurrency. I think the cryptocurrency is a long-term trend. So right now is internet, but right now is the use of last time is blockchain, but now it's the use of blockchain. Last time when we first Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin when we first come we have Bitcoin, I say, it's just a store of value or exchange, or it's a currency. But frankly, this is not a very good currency. Why? Because Bitcoin, number one, it takes quite some time for the transaction to go through. And second thing is the price moved up a lot, up and down a lot. So it's hard to become a currency. Currency. But with the last year with the DeFi and last few years with the DeFi, decentralized finance, right now they can use blockchain and create protocol. So they can create insurance company, they can create banks, they can create different things. They can create exchange from blockchain. So let's say example, money changer or exchange. Usually used to be like we have SGX Singapore Exchange. People buy from people buy and then people sell. That is an exchange that is like the trusted party that can they can facilitate the exchange. That's why they have exchange fee and all these things. Okay. But because right now with blockchain, everything is already on the ledger. That means what you buy and what you sell is on the ledger. You don't really need this central person to be the trusted person. We trust the code. We trust the protocol. So then this person is being replaced. Same thing for bank. Bank by right is you borrow money, lend money, right? Okay. We need some central person, the bank. You got to trust the bank. That's why you deposit money with them. But right now with code, right, with the Ethereum blockchain and things like that, everything can be fully ledger and fully trusted. So you believe the code rather than believe that person. And all the code is all out there, open. So I think right now, going forward, in next 10 years, there will be the use of blockchain rather than just Bitcoin is good for as a currency. I think that story is no longer good already. So it's rather right now, there's a use for this thing. It's like oil. Now there's a use for oil. Now there's a use for this blockchain, So I think this will really go into the next phase. Like you see some of the DeFi projects, some of them are holding like billions of dollars, and you don't even have like customer service and things like that. But their transaction, the TBL, right, is like billions of dollars. So yeah, it's something very interesting. Of course,
I think really like from what I see, right, is at first it was a bit of a through media, through people, right, word of mouth, it was a bit of a hype. It seems like a bit of a hype, but I think when you say that, let's analyze more on the use cases, right, the fact that it's decentralized and remove a lot of the middleman, remove a lot of the inefficiencies, right, that is when the use of it goes. And obviously, like I said, when more people use it, demand goes up, and then the price will go up eventually. So that's a good thing to look at right now. And I think that's I think that's a great perspective, right? I think I should look even deeper, because even though I've been touching a bit, but I think I go deeper into it. So that's for me, right? But I guess with that, right, thanks so much, Ray and Collin. I think this has been a great interview, right? Getting like a bit of your insights, your perspectives, right, on this space, right? So I guess with that, right, any like final words, right, for the folks watching here, like where can they find you, right? Any final words of advice, right? I just want to give you like just share a bit, right, about if they want to connect with you further, where can they do so?
I think later I'll give you the link. Okay, of course you can also connect me on Facebook lah. So I spend quite a lot of time on Facebook. You can connect with me on Facebook. And I think if let's say there was an advice to give anyone, right, when they start, is always to if you can, get yourself a coach. Get yourself a coach. Some people think that, I can figure this out myself. I can learn from internet. I can learn from YouTube and things like that. But you see now the challenge with YouTube or learning for yourself is not enough information. It is too much information. You type in trading on YouTube. There's so many things on trading. So really, the coach will be able to help you to tell you what is not needed. It's not about adding more, but what is not needed, and also about distinctions. I mean, when you look at something, your distinction. So because trading is so emotional, and if you get a coach, right, to guide you through, right, you will save a lot of time, because you don't need to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And second thing, you also save money, because if you keep trying and trade with the wrong method, you will keep losing money. So if you get yourself a coach, you will save time and you can save money. So that is the best advice I will ask everyone. And do it with someone who have done it before. Who have done it before, we went through the thing. So then it becomes so much easier. Like myself, everything I also get coached, because I know that is the cheapest and most cost-effective way to be good at something.
I love the advice, man. I think at least for me personally, I think the fact why I've been able to like grow in a pretty quick pace because of getting like coaches, mentors, right, like yourself, and then I think that really supports and accelerates your growth, right, way faster than somebody just try to do it on their own, man. So thanks so much for that. So with that, right, love this interview, Collin. I think you've been someone with a huge heart to serve, right, extremely systematic, right, extremely intelligent, right, and I think anybody who goes with you, right, through your program, through your community, right, can learn and grow so much. We'll definitely put the links in the chat. And with that, thanks so much, Collin, for the interview, right? And for those folks watching, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys soon for the next interview. Right? Bye, folks. Thank you.
Thanks.